And I am going to ask everyone to unmute themselves to start with. And I would love to have everybody just go around and say their name and say like one thing that is new and good for them this week. And then we'll move on. So I'll go ahead and start.
All right.
Actually. So obviously I'm Christine, and new and good for me is I just had an amazing meeting this morning with someone who I may be in the process of creating a business mastermind with. So I am really pumped about that. That's a super new and super good. So
Cool. Well, I'm Bob, and so last week I finally rejoined the gym, and I have gone, every other day, like I said I was going to do, and I'm exercising, and I'm going to, somebody told me that if I just do this for 60 days, that I will feel better, and that I'll get over that hump. But like, I'm like, all right, 60 days, but at the end of 60 days, if I don't feel better, I'm like over this.
It's 66 days to establish the habits. That's what we use at KW.
that does.
Good for you, though. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
So Adrienne, why don't you go next with what's new and good?
What is new and good? I would pass it to the next person. No, I actually started rededicating myself to exercise and physical activity because of my stress levels. Since I took over wellness for our brokerage, I've actually given up my own wellness habits over time. So this week we have Hal Elrod coming to the office, but I'm launching a 66-day challenge to help people change habits. So I have to spearhead this, but this will also get me re-engaged in that specific morning routine.
Good. Wonderful.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Okay.
All right.
Who's next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
I'm Cassie, and I'm a writer and a writing coach, and I have been working with women for a couple years now. She came to me after the death of her husband, and she was not a high school graduate, and she literally could barely write, and she just had her first article accepted this week. So,
that's great.
I feel really excited about her progress and her patience, and it's just been such a great example of you can start anywhere and make your dreams come true. So I'm really happy about that.
Congratulations.
That's wonderful. This is muted.
Lisa, how about you? I know you're on mute right now, but what's new and good for you?
Oh, hey. Hi, Christine. I'm trying to think. I guess what's cool is that I have income for the next 3 months, I know, which it's been a long time since, I started my business 2 years ago, and just knowing that I'm going into the holidays and everything's flowing, it just feels really good to know I have set income because of projects that I've taken on for the next at least 3 months. Feels awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It does feel good. Especially because it's the holidays, and usually as entrepreneurs, it's always just like, going into the holidays. So this feels great.
Yeah. And Gloria, how about you?
My name is Gloria, and I have made my income as a painter for, I think, like 10 years now, and I have committed. So what's new and good is that I've committed to actually working with my partner more fully, and less as a lone painter and more as a co-producer of workshops. And we are doing a touch workshop coming up for couples, creating space and time for them to actually learn how to be together, learn to slow down and we do Thai massage, but to learn to be in a loving space. More than that, it's I've announced to people as well that I will be teaching creativity workshops with him, which is really helping left brain people, who my partner is a left brain person, used to be a lawyer, access the right brain and to be in that discomfort of creativity, which seems to be where I live. And for me, most people find it terrifying. So we're going to create safe space for them to be in that terror.
Very cool. Oh, wonderful. And hi, Jen. I see you joined us. Jen, what's new and good for you?
Hi, everyone. Well, I had a great conversation with you yesterday. So.
I'm glad that was good.
Yeah, it actually was really helpful. She helped me remember to lead with my heart and not my brain, which that's very hard for me to do sometimes. Mm-hmm. And then I did a video today for my blog, and that it feels good to do that. It's really fun to talk to people. So
cool. Yay. Awesome. Okay. All right. So for the recording, I'm going to ask if you haven't muted yourself or remuted yourself, if you would do that. And I wanted to first just bring up one little piece of, I guess 2 pieces of housekeeping. So first is that I issued a challenge in our Facebook group last week for you to, as you went through the worksheet on transforming your triggers, like to look at, one thing that triggers you and kind of takes you out of, or takes you away from that zone of genius and away from who you want to be. And to commit to taking one action step to shifting that. And I know Cassie and Gloria, and I think Jen have already posted about that. But if the carrot for this is that there is a bonus Q&A call, so I'm not going to do any type of training, but if you have any questions or anything you want to discuss, just more specific to your situation about something that's draining your energy and how you can get back on track, then I'm going to host a bonus Q&A call next week. It'll be at the same time. And obviously same place. So if you do your trigger challenge, then you are eligible for the call. So any amount of action counts. And my hope is that everyone, you don't have to complete the challenge, but you commit to taking action by Friday. To be on the call next week. And today I'm still going to do a short training, but most of today is going to be really experiential because I have 2 tools that I want to take you through. And as I'm thinking about today, I know that talking about the negative gremlins and voice in our head can sometimes seem like kind of a drag or like a bummer to talk about, but I have to just be honest and say that in my nerdy, geeky self, that this is my very, very favorite thing to talk about, because I really believe in the power that this topic has to transform every aspect of your life. And so I'm going to pull up my slides here. Okay, so talking about releasing the energy drains associated with that negative gremlin in your head. And I do believe in the power of this information to transform your life, because there is nothing, I'll just speak from personal experience, there's nothing that drains my motivation and my energy faster as I think about the work I want to do in the world than the little voice in my head that's saying, maybe you're not good enough. People are going to judge you. People are going to think blah, blah, blah. And like I said, I want to give you a few practical tools to change that today. And I just love this quote from Carolyn Mace, where she says, how we feel about ourselves, whether we respect ourselves, because that is the cornerstone of this. It's respecting ourselves enough to say, I'm better than this talk that's in my head. But whether or not we respect ourselves determines the quality of our life, our capacity to succeed in business and relationships, healing, and intuitive skills. So it is, we talked about things that create static with your body compass and with that awareness of what's going on for you intuitively. And it is our own limiting beliefs and judgments that block our intuition and stop us from taking action. And so I want to talk about how to release that today. So, my first question as we jump into this topic is, would you be friends with that little negative voice in your head? And, I think I asked this question of myself because when I started to realize that I had a really negative Nancy that lived in my head, and I nicknamed her Myrna. She kind of looks like Maxine from the Hallmark cards. Like, she lives in a house coat and she kind of shuffles down the street. But, I started asking myself, would I be friends with that person? And, the answer I honestly came up with is no. Because I didn't like that voice. But in order to stop fighting against it, I had to create the avatar of Myrna, because I had to find some way, A, to distance myself from the voice, but B, to also start to develop some compassion for the voice. Because, when I thought of this person in her bath, in her house coat and her slippers and all that stuff, I started thinking about the fact that those negative judgments that she was barking at in my head, I recognized that they were just coming from a place of fear and limitation. And so I'm curious, you don't have to tell me what the voice says, but for anybody who struggles with the critic in your head, would you ever say what you say to yourself in your head to a friend? Everybody's like, no. Okay. Yeah. So, the most probably important shift that I think we can make from a mindfulness perspective is to recognize, first of all, that negative talk doesn't come from the best part of you. And that when it shows up, it's either a sign of fear or fatigue. That's it. It's kind of like, if you can look at the presence of that as either I'm scared or I'm tired, then what you do about it really starts to shift. I think about it like, kind of like a runny nose means that you either have a cold or a sinus infection. They're just it's a symptom of something. And what this negative talk is not a symptom of is that you're a bad person or hopelessly broken or anything like that. Because I know a lot of my clients get in this loop of thinking I know I shouldn't judge myself, but I am judging myself. And maybe that means that I'm just broken, or this is just the way that I am. And that's not true at all. So, it's just a symptom. It's just a sneeze. So, the voice that we have in our head that kind of, that says bad stuff about you, it's rooted in a limiting belief, or limiting beliefs. And these beliefs that we have are the rules that that typically we've learned from either our parents or teachers, or, that like we learn them even from society, like we learn them in our upbringing, and they're called limiting beliefs because, just as if you would think about like a plant that's growing, this belief is going to block your growth. And what we want to do is take the lid off of those beliefs, like remove any limitation, so that you are really free to grow. And just to give you an example of some common limiting beliefs that come up, I know on my calls, like, one of them would be, I'm not qualified enough to do this. Other people have more experience. I should just be happy with what I have. Why do I want more? Or, you have to work hard for your money. We could do a whole class on money beliefs, but all of those types of things, really kind of limit you. Does anyone want to call out, want to unmute yourself and just call out like a limiting belief that you want to let go of?
I can share mine because this is something you helped me with before the course started.
Okay, good.
Is I'm a realtor, so typically we just work commission sales. But there have been many people reaching out to me lately asking for additional support. So I told you I wasn't sure what to charge because I really couldn't put I didn't know how to put my value to charge somebody. So I would charge somebody $25, I would charge somebody $50. This is terrible because I love helping people. And between you and my mentor in the office, you both came up with the same exact dollar amount. So I'm glad you both valued me so highly. But from that point on, that's what I started charging. So in one week, I made $400 doing additional work. I changed my rate and how I justify it, and I made over $2,000 the next week supporting other agents. So what a mindset, it was such a shift for me going back to where do I present value, and what really occurred to me was how much value is that person deriving from my service?
Yes.
Not how much is my time worth to me, because helping a friend, I do it for free.
Yeah.
But the value that this person said, you allowed me to take my sick wife out to dinner and spend the whole day with her and not even work. He said, so actually it was even worth more than $1,000 to me. Who knew?
Okay. Wow. That's a great story. I love it.
So yeah, I've been wanting to share it with you for a little bit. So
Thank you. Thank you for sharing
so
that.
thank you for your advice that day too.
You are welcome. So that's fantastic. Anyone else?
Well, mine might be similar to Adrian's to some degree. I have this perfectionism in my brain that if I'm really perfect and good at what I do, then I can charge more and I can really put myself out there and ask for business. So my belief is I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet.
I'm not perfect yet.
Yeah,
That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah.
That's not the case. I mean, that's how we get better, right? Is to
Yeah. Well, it is, but it's also, I think it is our lack of perfectionism. Like, and I'm not saying we should all like just go around being a hot mess, or that you shouldn't, try to do well or support people, but it is the things that we might judge as not perfect about ourselves that actually connect people to us. I love I don't know if any of you all have heard the saying, imperfection is the wound that lets God in. And I think it is our imperfections that open us up to, whatever you call God or the spirit or the universe, like to work through you. And then suddenly, like, your impact just gets so much bigger. So, anyone else?
I have a big one, especially since I'm waiting to hear back from.
Yeah.
I don't believe that I can make money from my writing.
Ooh, yeah. Let's burn that one up. All right. So I want you to remember that, because we're going to use that in the exercise a little bit later. So that's a good one to put up to pasture.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I have one.
Yeah.
I keep feeling like I don't want to say this because it's going to make me cry, but you can't say it. It's that I'm weird or different, and I don't want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's put that out there of maybe finding some room to be special and the same all at the same time.
Yeah.
Gloria, I have felt that way off and on for like years and years and years. And so, all right, I'm going to get very transparent. I am very, I don't find myself attractive. I am not happy with the way that my body looks. I'm not, I wouldn't pick me up in a bar. But what I have learned is that, that fortunately other people find me attractive, and instead of saying what's wrong with them, I just sort of have to believe that they really do actually find me attractive. And I've sort of started to like celebrate the weirdness and celebrate the, it was about getting okay with me and being like, all right, so you know what, here I am, take it or leave it, and there's what I found, which is really, really, it blew me away, was that, the more I had that confidence, whether I believed it or not at first, because I didn't really believe it at first, I was like totally faking it, but the confidence is what people find attractive. Mm-hmm. And like all of a sudden, like,
yeah,
that helped me with the whole getting okay with the weirdness and me and who I am and the way my body looks. And, I just am what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps or hurts, but that's, and believe me, I'm not like okay with it. Some days are better than others. I mean,
yeah.
It doesn't stay, for me anyway. My experience is that it doesn't stay okay all the time.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Because I've actually had a conversation with my son and coached him on this exact topic. Is, Gloria, if you feel different, that's actually a gift. And whatever you do professionally, you want to be seen as somebody unique and different. You haven't come through life trying to blend in and not be seen. So whatever makes you different is something that should be embraced and loved about yourself, because you're not here to make an impact just to blend in. You can't make an impact and blend in. So whatever your unique traits are, celebrate those, because that's where change happens, and that's where evolution happens socially for us, is when people are not afraid to be true to themselves, and we count on those people to be different, to make changes. Otherwise, everyone would do the same thing. We'd all look the same, but it's when somebody has a spark of uniqueness that is truly attractive to so many people. So, I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Bob and Adrian and Christine. I think what you had said to be different and the same.
Yeah.
And what you were saying, Adrian, like we're all different. That's the truth of it, is that we're all different. And I'm not comfortable. I am sort of celebrated and I am put on a pedestal. And I'm not comfortable there because it's a really lonely, horrible place to be, because people want to make me other. And I think a lot of the marketing kind of capitalize on that. Oh, look at me, I'm an expert. And I'm just a person and who focuses. And everybody has that ability. So I'm starting to embrace that. That's really my passion, is to bring people in and share with them what it is to live in that space, like you're saying, celebrating who you are as an individual, and the fact is we're all individuals. Being put on a pedestal for being an individual just feels really creepy.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between being celebrated and being isolated. And I think, what I see, perhaps in what you're sharing, Gloria, and, what you all have talked about so far is that the challenge for us often is that being different means being singled out and told that you're weird, or that it somehow creates a barrier separation between you and that feeling and the people that you love. Like, so there's a lack of connection. And what I would love to do is to create like that feeling that you can be celebrated for being different, but that celebration creates more of a feeling of oneness, more of a connection, like to community, rather than this sense of like isolation, because we were all created with different gifts to share, at a communal table. And I'll just say too, Bob, that like I thank you for being so honest and transparent, like about your struggles with kind of self-image, because I think there is such beauty in just being open to the possibility that you could be attractive and loved by someone else, and that is, it's that openness to the possibility where, like, again, that healing starts to slip in, because it is certainly, one of the take-home messages from today is that how we see ourselves is typically not at all how the world sees us. Like, so anyway, yeah. So speaking of that, I love this picture because in my PT practice, I used to work with a number of women who had body image issues, body dysmorphia, because of eating disorders, and they could not see themselves as they were. They would look in the mirror and feel ugly, and just it drove them to really harm themselves. And the key to creating the success that we want in the present and in the future lies in that belief. And I love this quote from Henry Ford of like, whether you think you can or you think you can't, like, you're going to be right. And so, my clients often say, like, when we talk about new beliefs, like, I could be special and loved and connected, that feels hard for them. And they're like, I don't know if I can believe it. And my question is always, can you take the risk to try? And it kind of makes me think about there's a line, this is going back a little bit, but from Pretty Woman, where Julia Roberts and Richard Gere are like lying in bed, and Julia Roberts was saying, when people put you down long enough, you start to believe it. And Richard Gere says to her, you have so many gifts, you could be so much more. And she said, the bad stuff is easier to believe. And what I am asking you to do today, it is easier to believe. But what I'm asking you to do today is to take that leap of faith, that risk, that what might be hard to believe could actually be truer for you. I think it's worth it. So two people that I love and follow, Martha Beck and Byron Katie, they're both coaches and new age kind of thought leaders. And they both believe that whatever limiting beliefs you hold about yourself actually hold kind of the secret keys to your growth and your expansion, because these limiting beliefs that you have are typically the exact opposite. They're the mirror image of what is actually your truth. So, and the way that you can tell this is because, when you go back to that body compass feeling, it is how the beliefs make you feel that is the signal to whether it is your truth or not. And so whether you're Christian or not, there's a saying, the truth shall set you free. But the corollary of that is that if the thought doesn't make you feel free, it is not your truth. So, but, like the struggle for us is like, okay, I don't want to believe this thought. It's burdening. It makes me feel bad, but how do I let go? And the way that you let that go, all revolves again around, releasing the anchor of feeling, because it is that feeling of shame or hurt or despair that kind of anchors that thought. And so we're going to be doing some work today on how to shift the feeling state. And there are two basic steps to doing that. And the first is, we've talked about, it's always starts with calming fear. And I'm going to take you through a loving kindness meditation today around doing that. And then the second part is exploring a new possibility where you try on a new belief, like Bob was talking about, of like, maybe I could think that other people could find me attractive instead of thinking, that they're crazy. And it is in this process of trying on possibilities. And I love, it is one of my dearest friends, Sarah Airy, who is a coach with Christine Cain's group, who introduced me to the power of the statement, "What if it's possible?" Because that workaround of just exploring the possibility is oftentimes the back door to shifting that feeling state, because most of us can't directly approach it and say, I think it could be true that I can make money easily, and there are plenty of clients who always want to come and see me. That feels too far away most of the time, but that what helps to close the gap is like, what if it would be possible? Then your brain can make the leap to that feeling state. So what I want to do next is take you through something called the Watcher meditation. And this is going to be an audio that will be available in the course resource section for you to listen to and download. But what I'm going to have you do is you're going to put your hands kind of out like this, but closer to waist level. You don't want to hold them up by your chest. So elbows by your side, you can put your hands up, and you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to imagine that in your right hand is the kid part of you, the most childlike, simple, and just kind of joyful part of you. And you can imagine this little person being about 5 inches tall. It's a little mini you, young you. And what you notice as you look at that child is that the child just wants to play and have fun. They just want to just kind of do what they want to do, and they're really tired of not being able to do what they want to do. And then in your left hand, you can imagine that there's like this 5-inch tall, I call it the project manager or the taskmaster, that part of you that's like, if you don't make this extra call today, or if you don't work on the weekend, or if you take a day off, you are never going to make it. So it's that part of you that, like I said, it's like the project manager. It's the bossy part that's like, that just will not let you rest, and it won't let the child rest. Doesn't want you to give in to that desire to just be free and play and have fun. And as you look at these two separate parts of you in each hand, what you'll notice as you really visualize them is that the thing they have in common is that they're both really tired. They're both tired of fighting. They're tired of the struggle. And they just want to rest. And so as the part that is looking at them, you're going to offer them this loving kindness meditation. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be free from suffering. May you lie down in complete comfort. Say that again. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be free from suffering. May you lie down in complete comfort. Now, you can go ahead and open your eyes, and if you would like to answer this next question, I would love for you to unmute yourself. And I'm curious first to know, how do you feel in your body after just hearing that?
I feel balanced. I feel like the energy is in the core,
Okay,
rather than on the outside.
cool.
I feel relaxed.
Yeah, okay, good.
I felt very torn.
Did you? So what was your experience during that?
I felt like the child is very happy and silly, and the taskmaster is very angry. I'm embarrassed to say that, but
that's okay. Yeah. That's, there's no like right or wrong as we go through these mindfulness things. And the purpose of being aware is to recognize like that emotion, that part of you that's angry, like it's probably one of the things that's anchoring you in the cycle.
very much so.
Yeah. So, what I would, you don't have to do this now with all of us, but what I would give you as an assignment would be to allow that part, give it 5 or 10 minutes to just be pissed, and journal out all the reasons it's angry.
That's interesting. I kind of did a brain dump about that already.
Oh, okay.
It's not just the yin and yang, which is typical, I think, in everything we do. I feel like there is a child and a taskmaster constantly battling for time, space, energy.
Yeah. So let's stick with that for a second, because my next question is if you can see these two parts of you, who is the part of you that is watching them?
Who's the responsible adult in charge?
Well, okay, so here's how I think about these parts, and Elizabeth Gilbert has talked about this before, like on Oprah. Is that, you know, we have a child, and we have this project manager part, and that project manager part is kind of like the adolescent bossy, like older brother, older sister, you know, that is saying, you better stop eating ice cream. You better stop, you know, like you can't keep doing that. And, you know, there are parts of that is true, you know, like that, you know, most of us are not going to make a living by riding roller coasters all day, or by, you know, but there is, in addition to these two parts, there's a third part, which is your wise self. And it is the part that we oftentimes don't access that balances out these two parts, because our wise self is the one that actually is in charge of integrating these two parts and these two sides. And when your wise self, when you are not accessing that wisest part of you, what happens is that one or the other of these parts gets out of balance. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, you know, if you think about kids in a family, if you don't have like, you know, a parent that's setting boundaries for each of them, that one part ends up kind of running roughshod. And, you know, my hunch, and I don't know if this is true or not, but my hunch is that if you were to continue to give yourself permission to kind of feel how you feel, but B, continue to sit with that question of what would I do if I trusted myself, and what would I do if I trusted that this was going to work out and that the universe had my back, that the fears that show up with this incredible, like, the polar opposites that the kid and the project manager want. You know, the kid is like, go play hooky, like, and the project manager is, don't ever rest. But somewhere in the middle, there's your balance. And you know, we tend, unfortunately, you know, particularly as entrepreneurs, to listen to the project manager more than we listen to the kid. And that creates a really unhealthy work dynamic. So is that helpful at all?
Sure, it is.
Okay. Did anyone else have an experience, like, how did you feel in your body as you were doing the meditation?
I'd like to share.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt a downshift. I think for me, there's this continual, sub-personality part, wondering whether or not I've landed in the right group. Like, am I going to be allowed to be not just one thing? Like, can I be, I don't know, there's some quote, but can I be multitudes? Can I have many facets of who I am? And and I have found myself in my life in situations where I frustrate people, or people I don't think they get frustrated with me because they're like, trying very hard to pin you down. What are you? Are you a free spirit? Are you a this? Are you that? And I'm like, well, could I be a lot of things? Like, can you not need to do that to me? People need to box me, and I'm thinking, I don't fit here. I don't want to be boxed. I want to be wrong, you know. And so I appreciate what you shared. I mean, all of it resonates with my practices of non-dualism and meditation. And I'm also an entrepreneur and a business person, and I'm really creative, and I'm all of these things.
You know, I am, or I think is the most powerful phrase that we have, like in the English language. And I think oftentimes we limit ourselves, or, you know, like you said, box ourselves in by the labels that we put on ourselves, because we think we are only the labels, or that we are bound by the labels. And, you know, there's not one part of you that is the whole of you. It was never intended to be that way. And, you know, continuing to let go of the idea that, you know, of I am just an artist, or I am just a yoga studio owner, whatever that is, like, is the way to continue growing and expanding into the fullness of who we are. Because I know, just speaking from experience, I think I spent a lot of time in my, you know, late 20s and early 30s, conforming my behavior around a certain label I had for myself, like professionally and personally. And, you know, that puts a cap on your growth. Anybody else? Okay, so I had asked you all I want to shift to kind of the second exercise here, which is working to explore new beliefs and new possibilities. And I would like for anybody who printed out the sheet, the handout that I sent, to get that out. So the handout, you know, kind of looks like this. And to also get your answers to the questions. I want to start by talking about the kind of the state of the union, where you are right now. So, all right, does everybody, I think Gloria went to get hers. Does everybody else have theirs right now? Okay, so we'll go ahead and start. So, there is, for all of us, there's a gap between where we are and where we want to be. And what I want to do today is explore how do we bridge the gap. And so I call this exercise the bridge to the future. So what I want you to do first is, in that top left corner, write out just a few quick bullet points of where you are, both business-wise and personally.
I'm still with you, Christine. This
Oh,
is going
okay.
to be really interesting one for me. I switched to just the audio.
Audio, okay.
Cool.
It's kind of like having like the voice of God, like on the phone with us. Like, I like it.
That was
so funny. Or you could be like, Christine, I am your father. Okay, so you have your goals, like, or your current state that you put on that left side. Now, where you want to be, you're going to write out a few little bullet points there, both, you know, for business wise and personally. And, you know, you may have more than 3 goals. You may not have 3, you know, you don't have to write down 3. You can write down 1 if you want. Okay, so basically, like I said, that there is this gap between, you where you are now and where you want to be. And the work of kind of creating the where you want to be occurs in the gap. And so, I put in the mind the gap circle at that top middle part there. But as you become mindful of that gap, what I want to kind of bring to the surface is what is standing in the way. Because oftentimes, we think that it's something more practical, but that gap is really the only thing that is really creating the gap, or the thing that's going to bridge the gap is going to be the combination of the actions that you take and the belief that you hold. And your belief is going to be your GPS that is going to determine what direction you're going to go in on this kind of roadmap of creating change. So as you look down below the action and belief kind of icon, you'll see that option 1 is to follow the limiting thought or belief that you may have. And I want you I know you have put down a number of goals, but I want you to pick one belief that feels like it's keeping you stuck, a belief that's related to either a personal goal or a business goal. And, I'll give you an example. A belief that comes up a lot on the calls that I have is, this is going to take forever. And that actually could be either for personally or professionally. So as you've identified that thought or that belief, now we're going to use the body compass. And, with that thought, like if I'm using the example of this is going to take forever, when I think that thought, what I feel in my body is like tightness in my chest and my solar plexus. I have trouble taking a deep breath, and I feel anxious and scared emotionally. So I want you to pay attention to the physical sensations you have as well as the emotions that come up. Okay. Now, with that feeling, when I have those feelings, then the action that I want to take based on those feelings is not taking action. Because that feeling of like being constricted, it's like with that thought, this is going to take forever, that thought makes me want to not even start, because it's like, it's so much work, why bother? So then what ends up happening is that let's say I don't take action to grow my business. And so what happens is that it starts creating this spiral of that limiting belief keeps you in the traffic circle of just, I want something, but I can't get it because the feeling that I have with that thought doesn't inspire me to take the right action. So, and this, I put this on the second page, but this thought framework was developed by a coach named Brooke Castillo. So I can't take credit for it, but I really like it because it to me, it makes it really clear, like, is this thought, is that the right one to put in the GPS? Like, is this going to get me toward my goal? So does anyone have an example that they want to share? Is anyone stuck with this? We all good? Thumbs up? Okay. All right. So then second option is to pick an expansive thought. And I'd like for you to explore whatever is the opposite of that. So in the example that I gave, so the limiting thought that I had was like, this is going to take forever. The expansive thought would be, this is going to happen faster than I think. So when I think that thought, this is going to happen faster than I think, I feel this sense of openness in my chest. I feel kind of light in my body. And I'm excited. Like that thought, I'm like, ooh, I could get behind that. And then the action that I want to take is going out and meeting people because I want to connect. And I want to like share what I have. And as a result of that, could imagine my business is going to grow faster. And that's going to end up creating this flow where suddenly like I end up in this place of reaching my goals over here on the right. So does anyone need help picking an expansive thought or an expansive belief? All right, go ahead, Gloria.
So I'm trying to go from single income focus, like I paint portraits.
Yeah.
To multiple income streams. So
Okay.
I'm teaching and doing more of that.
Okay.
My limited thought is there's not enough time. I don't have enough time to do all of
Gotcha. Okay. So a mantra that you could try on would be time expands to suit my purposes.
Okay, rock on. Time expands to suit my purposes. I like that.
Okay. Does that feel like, when you think of that, does that feel good? Does that feel like a possibility?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Okay, sure. Anybody else need help with this?
I actually do.
Okay.
Apparently I'm going to be very vocal during this call today.
That's good. We missed you last week.
I know. I missed you guys too. I've been going through a struggle, and it's something you said, I think within 3 lines of our very first call, was how you said you were in PT and you love helping people. And I feel very much the same in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I love houses. I love people. But what I've started doing since I joined leadership in the office is I started teaching and training.
Mm-hmm.
And the feedback that I've gotten and the feeling I get from sharing and helping my fellow colleague has become a lot more rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't admitted that to anybody, especially within my brokerage. I want to start teaching.
Yeah.
And I've never seen myself as a teacher. I've never thought about myself like that.
Yeah.
How do I make the transition? Can I do it? Will there be benefits involved? And because, I don't have benefits being, a 1099.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as I just signed up to teach 2 courses, one being accountability,
Okay.
which is hilarious in itself, am I able to take it to the next phase to transition to help other realtors and
Mm-hmm.
train them, and in what capacity? So I'm really struggling with that.
Okay. So, all right. So there are a lot of strategy questions in that, like a lot
There are
of,
a whole lot of questions in that.
what would you say? What would you say is like the fear that you have like about it? If there are like 1 or 2 or 3 big fears that come up, like what would they be?
Actually, one of the real fears I have is because of some of the health challenges I have.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's easier to adapt my realtor schedule.
Okay.
People on a one-to-one basis would understand, I threw my back out again. Where a corporation next, and a reason is a reason, and an excuse is an excuse, whether it's valid or not.
Okay.
I'm really struggling with.
So maybe the thought is like, I'm going to lose control over my time.
Some of that.
Okay.
Some of that flexibility.
Okay. What else?
What avenue could I take to earn more money doing that than what I'm currently making?
Okay. So then would the fear be, I'm not going to I'm going to work harder for less money, or I'm not going to be able to earn as much? Or it's risky.
Am I able to go back to working for somebody else?
Okay. Or maybe the thought, maybe there's because one of the thoughts that comes up for me is like, maybe you don't have to work for someone else. Maybe you could like still do your own thing.
That's even more frightening.
Why? Why? What's the thought that comes up there?
I'm not sure I possess the entire skill set to do that.
Okay. See, that's the problem right there. Okay. So here's what happens. Like we have, and this is like, this happens for everybody. Like it happens for me. Like whenever you feel like you're in this snow globe of like, there are all these possibilities and there's all this chaos and you can't like figure out what it is. There's typically like one or two really deeply rooted thoughts or beliefs that we have that like are keeping the globe shaking. And my hunch is that that's the thought for you, is that like, I'm not qualified to do this.
Right.
Okay. So let's try on the thought of, I'm perfectly qualified to do this.
Which I've seen other trainers.
Right.
Really.
Right.
I
Okay.
should have more confidence in myself in that.
Well, but so confidence is a reflection of oftentimes of what belief is driving. Like, so, okay. So when you try on the belief of I'm perfectly qualified to do this, like how do you feel?
A bit empowered.
Okay.
Like,
all right. So
perfectly qualified makes me not as scared.
right.
But if I actually trusted that, right now I could say I'm qualified, and I'll end the call and go, "Oh crap, I am so not worthy."
Well, yeah. Well, this is the start, but there is like we're gonna work through some things. Like so, so this is all right. So this is this belief that we're trying on, this starting line. Okay, this isn't like a one or done. It's not like going and buying a new outfit and you're like, oh, I've got a new outfit, yay! Like this process of actually, it's like home ownership, that there are payments you have to make every month in order to buy the house. Like, well, a part of the payments are like affirmations and working through the dirt that comes up. Right? Mindset is not a one and done.
Right.
So, but where we are right now is at the starting line. We're not at the finish line. We're just at the starting line, trying on this thought of what might happen if you aligned with this thought. So you feel empowered, energized is something that I heard.
Yeah.
Excited, maybe?
I mean, I get excited if I think about it.
Okay.
Like I said, when they sent the course schedule, I'll do everything but database management.
Yeah.
So, but I was so excited at the opportunity again.
Great.
Of course, it's
Okay.
volunteer.
Lower risk, sure, but
it's part of the brokerage. It's part
yeah.
of my
Okay.
leadership duty.
yeah.
So-
Okay. So you feel excited. So if you believed that you are perfectly qualified, let's say to go into other brokerages and train realtors, like, or to, I don't know what this would be like what, if you felt empowered and excited, what action would you take?
I would sign, I'm actually taking an action this week is
Okay.
to interview to join leadership again.
Okay.
With a different conversation is, how can I take my real estate business and my love and passion for teaching now, combine it? Is there a place for me within either my brokerage or within the region?
Mm-hmm.
But, starting to create a path. I don't expect to go from today and next month,
Yeah.
to
Okay.
CW's best
Yeah.
trainer.
Yeah.
But how do I get in there, and what path can I take to make?
Yeah. Okay. So what results do you think you might get as because of that action step? What could you see happening?
Just, I guess, more opportunity for training, but then that also gives me the opportunity to connect to the regional leadership.
Yeah.
And, you know, to have the conversation, because I brought wellness into our brokerage, and the goal was to bring awareness, but also spread it through the region.
Mhm.
So why can't I be that person to help spread the word, but also get some recognition where if somebody hears my name in 2 months from now, they'll associate it with the wellness chair, but also somebody who's willing to go out of their way to help other brokerages, etc.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, and you tell me where I'm wrong with this. My hunch is that you may need to spend a little bit more time giving yourself permission to actually think that you were qualified for this, to think about where you might want this to go. Like to just play about, like, if you were really dreaming big and if you could write your own check, like what that would be. Because I think the more strongly that you connect, this feeling, this little nudge that you have, like, because it's a thing, and I know exactly where you are, because like I was there, like,
right.
Yeah.
And I'm burnt out. I'm burned out right now.
And right. And you know, the thing I'm going to really offer for you, to go back to one of the other kind of limiting beliefs around, like, you know, what if I lost control of my time, or what if I couldn't take care of my health? You know, my question is, what if your health was better if you were doing something that you loved?
Right.
You know?
And yeah, that's what I've been struggling with. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, so I think that your results are going to be clearer, and they're going to be more income generating. Like you're going to be connected to that endpoint of like the income that you want. If you give yourself permission to really think about what it is that you want. Because it is, I think the scariest thing about being an entrepreneur is saying out loud what you want, and giving yourself permission to go get it. Because who am I to do it? What if I can't? What if I have this thing that I love so much and I fail? You know, but like Brene Brown says, like, and Elizabeth Gilbert too, there are no guarantees that when you follow your passion that you're not going to get your butt kicked. But you know, man, like, isn't that kind of, if you were going to get your butt kicked either way, wouldn't it be worth it, like doing something that you really cared about?
Right. Dying of the passion.
Right. But there's also like a pretty significant chance that because it energizes you, that that you're going to get up and try again and succeed, you know, because where I see you right now is trying to muster up the energy and the motivation to do this thing that very clearly is not, like your body is giving you the signal for a reason, you know, and it's not because there's no path, it's because there is another path and you're not on it.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So how about anybody else need help with an expansive thought, or have, so I know a couple people had to jump off. So I think it's just the three of us now. So Bob, Gloria, and Adrian. So what kind of questions? Well, first of all, let me say, I'm going to encourage you to go through the second half of the worksheet after we get off the call. So the second half of the worksheet is developing the 5 expansive beliefs that are going to help you to reach your goals. So if you wrote down, you know, a list of 3 or 5 fears, then it's going to be just the opposite of what those fears or beliefs were, like that become the expansive beliefs. And these then become the affirmations that you say every day.
Is that noise from
So,
Bob?
yeah. Bob, do you want to jump in and ask?
Oh, sorry. Nope, I'll mute myself. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You must be on the Beltway.
So, I created these 2 pages in part with the intention that you might use the second page. You could use both, but you might even use the second page as something that you put up on your wall or that you keep, nearby on your desk to look at the beliefs that are going to help you stay connected with that vision, that goal of what you want. And that, I put 4 action steps on here. What I suggest you do is think about what would be the first step that I would do, like the first step that I would take, like with these beliefs. Write it down and then start working toward that. Write the date completed. Once that action step is done, write another one. But these beliefs will continue to fuel you to take action steps. And the thing that that oftentimes derails our progress is just trying to do too much at once. And so I'm going to encourage you to just, like Adrienne, like when we're talking about your situation, what would be the very next step? And it sounds like you have the very next step. It's, meeting with people next week and saying, okay, this is what I want. And so after that meeting, then you're going to sit down and think, what's the very next step? I have these beliefs. I had this meeting. What's my next thing? Okay. So, so questions that I can answer for anyone.
I have 1,000 questions. Going all day.
Well, let me ask Gloria or Bob, do you have any questions?
I want to say, it's not a question, but I want to appreciate Adrienne for sharing and for you coaching her. It was so helpful for me because, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, probably all are on some level. And it's so helpful to hear that. I related to so much. Is like, what is it you want? And for me, I get bogged down with people look at my paintings and I've been in groups where I'm a writer. There's a part of me that's a writer, and if I'm not painting, there's like shame that comes from other people. Like, you have this gift, you should be doing that. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm failing the world. And people have said that to me. Like,
ooh.
I mean, I don't know, like people who aren't living what they want to be doing, and then they think, well, I want to be doing that, so you should be doing that.
Yeah.
Really a lot of shaming, like,
yeah,
not deny this gift God gave you or something. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, God.
And why would you be denying it just by following your passion someplace else?
Doing something else. And so then I started to realize, like, the gift really for me, like, these people are offering me a gift is that there are people who are doing other things, making a lot of money, who would love to be playing and painting and following some creative pursuit that maybe isn't a moneymaker, but they're terrified too. Like, who am I to be doing this, And so I want to create that space within our yoga center for people to play in that.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
I get it, what it's like to try to be more. My partner was a lawyer and gave that up, and people are like, oh my God, so brave,
People shamed me too, like and I still get it every now and then, like when people would be like, you mean you don't practice physical therapy anymore? You mean like you went to graduate school and you gave that up? And I'm like, it was my training ground for my next thing. Like, and why should I be bound to this job that's killing me? Like, when I have something else, I want to do so much more. And, I think it's a misnomer, with or it's a misimpression that a lot of people have that you can only be talented at one thing, or like, and I really believe that sharing your talents in one area, like your artistic ability, only enhances your ability to share creatively in another way. Like, and so yeah, we should never, what other people think of you is none of your business, but what
been done, right?
but it is, but that's the work, is letting go of that, is letting go of the burden that other people, I always think of it as like comments like that are kind of like the equivalent of, this smells terrible, smell it. It's like other people are like, this feels awful, here, take it, and you're like, no, it's not mine.
Right. That's funny.
So I absolutely appreciate being here with all of you, and again, Adrienne, for you sharing and feeling this mirroring back, and feeling a sense of belonging, and it brings me to my heart.
So, Bob, how about you?
This has totally been my favorite one so far.
Oh, good.
And one of the things that I've always struggled with is sort of finding my why for anything in life that I think I might want to do. It's like, everyone says find your why, and like the rest of it just sort of follows. And but like, I'm very clear on like where I am today, both personally and professionally, and like where I want to be a year from now. And so this has been a great exercise for me to sort of go, okay, because like somebody else said on the call, I don't know who it was, talked about it being overwhelming or feeling like there's just not enough time. I can get there too. And so what I find that helps me with that is having baby steps that I can accomplish along the way that all lead to wherever I want to be.
Yeah.
So this has sort of got me thinking about all of that.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that. And if you, next week, it's going to be just kind of an open call and, an opportunity to dive into your why more, or to explore what might be the action steps to start closing.
Yeah, I'm going to be on a plane next week.
Oh, bummer.
I know.
I know.
Well,
I have to look and see what time my flight is, but I'm flying to Texas next Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeehaw. Well, you can always ask about like anything on any of these calls. So like it doesn't have to be related to the topic of the day. So we could definitely talk more about your why on another call if you'd like to talk about that.
Awesome. Okay, that'd be great.
Okay, cool. All right. Adrienne, did you have anything more you wanted to share or ask?
As I said, I have 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
But, when we are talking about our mindset shift, how we believe in ourselves. 5 years ago, I was with another brokerage. And when I sat down with the broker, he told me flat out, you're not cut out for real estate. And I went to the team lead after that, pretty upset. And what she told me was, you're going to wind up leaving this brokerage, and you are a minnow and I am a shark, and you will never make it on your own in this industry. And I can't tell you, that was probably the worst thing anybody said to me professionally, but it was the best thing anybody ever said to me professionally. Because I wound up leaving. I wound up making a big change, and I was scared to make a change. Very, very scared. So as you were saying, I am actually qualified to teach this. I might be the different, unique one of the leadership committee. Gloria, I am the black sheep of our committee. I believe in sharing wellness and really looking out for people and spreading that message. And if it is unique, then so be it. But I'm okay taking that path, whether it's alone or with a group. But sharing, listening to you really kind of inspired me with that again. You may be seen as different sometimes, but there is a benefit to that. It's a painful lesson a lot, but I think it's staying true to ourselves.
Yeah.
So
that's it right there. It's letting go of the belief that we're supposed to be anything other than who we are.
Right.
And just continuing to do the work to stay connected. You know, you stay connected, kind of ironically, you stay connected to your spirit through your body, because that is the mouthpiece for your intuition and for, like, you know, these nudges, like what's next. And I always think about this process. I don't think I shared this in one of the other classes, but you know, there is a line in the Psalm, "The Lord is my shepherd," that says, "He leads me in straight paths for his name's sake." But the interesting thing about that Psalm is that the original Hebrew actually translates to, "He leads me in roundabout paths that end up being in the right direction." And that, I think, sums up like exactly what this process of life and purpose and being true to yourself really is. It is a roundabout path that ends up being in the right direction.
Beautiful.
So anyway, well, I want to be mindful of everyone's time. But like, if any final questions? No? Okay. You can always ask them in the Facebook group. Like, so always.
No, thank you.
But I challenge you to, I'm going to expand the challenge to really live with an expansive thought, expansive belief, and just keep coming back to that each day, and see what happens. You know, you are experimenters of your own life. And so, you know, we all know what happens when we follow the crazy damn fears that we have and limiting beliefs. And it, like, let's try on a new thing. Let's try on a new thought and see what happens. All right. So thank you for being here today and for sharing so much. Like, I love it. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the forum, and then we'll have, you know, just a free form Q&A next week for, you know, any more help or coaching that you want.
Excellent.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.